Everybody just listen. Tell me why them Sigmas keep winning. Tell me why them blue boys always trending. It's like the love for us is never ending. Yeah, you know that we like to run the table, but we never do it for the fame, no. We the people's frat, man, it ain't no fable. But listen, we don't even care about the label. Listen, everything we do is for a purpose. We real down to the core, not just the surface. We for the people, man, y'all just need to learn this. And that's brotherhood, scholarship, and service. Come on, come on. Phi Beta Sigma, got the soul. Can you believe it? The greatest frat was started by 3 men, and we not gonna let nobody prevent. Our achievement is no secret. That there's some people out there that wanna pretend, but it's alright, you can pretend.
Good evening. My name is Ron Carter, and on behalf of Phi Beta Sigma chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, we welcome you to this evening's discussion on real estate. We have 3 gentlemen with us this evening who will lead us in this discussion. So please take notes, and you can also hold your questions, or you can place them in the comment section of this webinar. I'm going to introduce these 3 gentlemen, and I'll let them say a little bit about themselves. I'm going to go from my left, top left, and that is Mr. Raymond J. Plummer. Raymond?
Thank you, Mr. Thank you very much, Mr. Carter. I'd like to say thank you to the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated organization for allowing me to be a part of their function this evening and to share time with their brothers and their brotherhood. I do understand how precious of an opportunity this is to share knowledge with gentlemen that are looking to grow their endeavors as well as grow their knowledge base. I myself have been in real estate for over 28 years here in Southern California. I've been doing transactions throughout all the state of California. I'm a husband to a DST, just go getter. And, I'm the 4th of 5 sons, being probably only one of them was Greek. And I'm a brother, an uncle, a granduncle. And I've just become a grandfather to a brand new granddaughter, Ezene, which is a beautiful Nigerian name for a young lady.
Okay, thank you. Next is Brother Sidney Jackson, who is a member of my
fraternity. Part of you guys' organization tonight. In addition, and for those of you who would like to know what BAM is, you can just text 323-451-5050 to understand the complete message of what BAM does to build Black wealth. Mr. Carter, thank you guys very much.
Okay, thank you, Raymond. We appreciate you being here this evening. The next person I'll introduce is Brother Sidney Jackson, who is the Western Regional Director for Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity, and he's a member of the Phi Beta Sigma chapter.
Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, Brother Carter. Welcome, everyone. I've been born and raised in Los Angeles, and I love real estate. I've been licensed for over 20 years as a broker. It's near and dear to my heart, as my father retired as a bus driver and took his entire retirement and bought his first multifamily building. And I was about 12 years old at the time. And he said, Sidney, you always got to buy dirt, buy real estate, because they don't make any more of it. And so ever since then, it was always in my head. Even when I went to college at UCLA, went to the military, Marine Corps, and went to grad school, real estate has always been on the forefront. And I got licensed and been investing and doing business ever since. So thank you and welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Brother Jackson. And next is Brother Javon Moore. Brother Moore.
Greetings, everyone. Brother Javon Moore, realtor here with Premier Realtors. Greetings to everyone here and online and those that will watch the recording. I, just like Sydney, is one of the few Los Angeles guys, been here, born and raised all my life. Similar story to his, how I jumped into real estate. Me and my pops, we ended up moving out from his last marriage. We actually went and moved into a fourplex. He rented out 3 units and we lived in one. So at that time, I found out real early how things can go where you can end up being an owner versus just a renter. Even though we were amongst the people, we were actually the ones collecting the rent. So I used to get mad when I had to go out there and rake the leaves and water the grass and get the guys off. But you know what? He was teaching me lessons early on, you know what, how it's going to be an owner. So after graduating college, wanting to learn and do some investing, I said, one thing I got to do is know about how I'm doing these deals. So I went ahead and got licensed. So I've been licensed as a licensed realtor for over the last 20 plus years. And it's always been a part of me. I've had some ups and I've had some downs, but the main thing is you got to get out there and invest, and definitely over the long haul, it works out for you. So looking forward to tonight's discussion and giving you guys some jewels. And by all means, if you need anything, definitely drop me a line. I know you know me more for having a camera in my hand, but my other profession is definitely real estate.
Great. Thank you, gentlemen. As you can see this evening, we have some gentlemen who has been in this business for a while and understands it. 20 years doing anything makes you an expert, right? And hopefully you've put in that 10,000 hours, which will definitely make you an outlier, which is a good thing. I want to start with my first question. You know, since you gentlemen both, all 3 of you gentlemen has mentioned being in real estate for a while. Is it a good time to invest in real estate? And I direct this question to you, Brother Jackson. And if so, why?
I think right now, I mean, it's a question that a lot of people try to predict what the market's going to do and not do. And there's a lot of experts out there. And historically, you can look at the market and say, you know, every 10 years or so, there's kind of a shift in pricing, interest rates, and they're usually inversely related with either the prices are high, interest rates are low, or vice versa. But now in the market now, it's kind of like the prices are still high and the interest rates are high. So the answer to the question directly, it just depends on what your goals are. You got to have goals in anything that you do. So if your goal is to get a piece of property, get a single family home for your family, and you need one now, then go ahead and go for it. Because at the end of the day, on a single family, and if your goal is just to get a single family and you're going to live there for 20 years, then whether you have equity or not, it's your home. You're going to live there. So regardless of what it does, you're still going to be there unless you want to pull equity out and do something with it. But by and large, just for single family resident purposes, if you want one, go ahead and get it. If you're doing it for investment, then you got to really look at the numbers. I think there's always a better time to buy real estate, but right now there is a lot of inventory out there. Inventory is sitting longer. I have a listing right now of a $2 million house that they bought for $1 million, fixed it up, and now they're trying to turn a profit. And it's been sitting for the past month with 0 offers. Whereas this time last year, I had a listing, that same kind of property in the same area, and I had 8 offers and they were fighting for it in the same price range. So this in a 1-year time period on the investment side of a single family resident. Right now, it's sitting longer. So again, It just depends on what your goal is. So again, we put together a financial plan or a real estate plan to figure out what is that the client needs and wants. If they're just trying to find a home for their family, they'll buy it regardless of what it is, as long as they can afford it, right? But if you're trying to do investing, that's a little bit more tricky. It may not be so good to buy right now, unless the property is at a price where you can really make a big gain on it. Hope that answers the question. Thank you, Brother Carter.
Yeah, you did. Thank you. Thank you for that comprehensive answer. Brother Moore, you want to weigh in on that? You want to weigh in on the question? You want to add anything to the question?
I definitely will. I'll chime in and go one step further because Brother Jackson talked a little bit more on the single family homes, and I'll touch a little more on the multi-family homes. As he said, you know what, the market has definitely changed. I just had a gentleman, lower price range than Brother Jackson, but he got to a point where he's an empty nester. I sold him this place 13 years ago. He went ahead and sold it last month so he can go ahead and buy a place cash out in Houston. So for him, whoever was coming to buy his place, it was the right time. Now, when you look at multifamily, as I discussed earlier, it's similar to a single family home. Pricing is somewhat the same if you go 4 units or less. So same rules apply. If you can afford that particular mortgage and you know you can be able to get a duplex or a triplex or a quad where it's going to be 2, 3, or 4 renters for you, today's market, the way LA rents are now, for any of you that don't own a home, you know those rents are getting pretty outrageous. So think about that on the flip side. If you're the owner of a duplex or a triplex, you're going to be able to go ahead and bring in that rent. And I think right now in Los Angeles, a 1-bedroom right now is going on average for about $1,800. Once you go to a 2, you're looking at 21. So when you think about, let's just say, round it off to 2,000, and you got 3 other people paying you $6,000, and your mortgage is only 8, and you only got to come up with 2, that's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal. You are gaining ownership, but you're still paying the same of what you would have paid in a 1-bedroom. So you just got to change your thinking a little bit. And as Brother Jackson said, you got to sit down with a professional so you can be able to work out your real estate plan and truly understand what you have at hand.
Thank you. So, I think we're having a little bit of problem with Brother Plummer, with Mr. Plummer's video. Raymond, are you there? Yeah, I think we're having some problems with him. Oh, there he is. Okay. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Hear you. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Do you want to add to the question? You want to add to the question?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit. As I speak to seniors, I like to remind them that, you know, real estate investment carries risk and that nothing's guaranteed a profit. So always do your due diligence. Consult with, you know, a real estate professional, you know, and understand what your investment intentions are. You have to understand how to watch market trends because real estate, you know, can go up and down in different categories and what we call money streams of income. You know, when it comes to the real estate trade, you know, what are some of the local factors that are happening? Because as we talk to brothers who are looking to invest, it's not necessarily just here in California. You know, they want to invest nationally. So we want to guide them to professionals like Brother Moore and Brother Jackson and myself, you know, to help them to understand what the local factors are that are affecting it. You know, we want to, you know, sit down with them and take a look at their personal finance structure and just see how real estate fits in, you know, to their dreams, their goals, their ambitions, their aspirations, you know, so we can get them into a solid program that's going to allow them to stay in it, you know, so that they don't, you know, so that they don't lose it, you know, and we want to, you know, real estate can be lucrative, but it doesn't come without its risk. I'm just going to be upfront. It's not all milk and honey. It has its pitfalls, but it has its great advantages. And more millionaires are made from real estate. And as you can see, companies such as Zillow, companies such as Amazon, they're out there buying single family homes. So, you know, we ask that the community depend on brothers like Brother Moore and Brother Jackson and myself to help them to find properties to keep them within families. This is one of the biggest considerations that we as real estate agents and African American real estate agents see today is how to keep Black families in these homes. We have to become very creative financially, and we look forward to helping them to understand, buy the dirt. You must own the dirt if you really want to start to develop wealth. Anything else, it's going to put you out of the game. Um, and I think it's an admirable thing that Mr. Jackson has stated, relative to trying to help the community over there. And so these are great things that these brothers are doing, and we just got to reinforce the idea with the listening audience that you know um, real estate agents are like lawyers, even more so. They're degreed individuals, which means that they went to school for 4 years. Brother Jackson's a broker. Brother Moore, I believe, may be a broker, which requires them to take an additional 8 or 10 more classes. And these classes take 6 to 8 weeks. So, they've done their residency, and then 20 years of experience. These are, licensed under the state of California professional individuals who are sitting there waiting to help the community. And we just need to remind the community, um, we're not lawn jockeys, and we're not just moving paperwork, and we're not just putting signs up. There's a lot that goes into what these gentlemen do as a profession and what I do as a profession. And we're here to help you. We're here to help you to gain the wealth of owning real estate.
Thank you. You said, all three gentlemen said a lot of good stuff just now. And I think, Brother Moore, I'm going to come back. I'm going to come to you because you kind of mentioned multifamily homes, right? And so the question I have is, should someone who is investing for the first time invest in a single family or a multifamily situation?
Loaded question, but definitely let's go ahead and tackle it. You have to know yourself. It does take a special individual to be able to go ahead and be a landlord to have a multifamily. You got to be able to budget. You got to be able to keep people accountable to make sure that you're getting your rent on time, you're pre-screening and getting the right tenant in there. So there's a lot that comes with it. So if you're a responsible person and you know that you are able to take on a second job, which is being a property owner, then I would say go ahead and jump at the duplex, try our quad. But if you know you just want to enjoy home ownership, you just want to come home and deal with your own things at the house and keep things easy, go to work, then it will be the single family. So coming right out the gate, there's definitely nothing wrong with it. My first building was a fourplex, just like my dad's. Believe it or not, it was literally 2 doors down. But I also had the blueprint, and I did it before and knew how it was. So I was done with school. I went ahead and dropped the 3 tenants. Well, we actually got the lowest paying tenant out, but I had 3 other tenants and was able to manage them. And I was already doing it and watching it from afar. So if you have a good real estate professional who's going to be behind you and help you out, definitely something to do. Grab yourself a management company to be able to help you collect the rents and do some of the application stuff that you may be unfamiliar with. But I'd say a great resource back then was Apartment Owners Association. Helped me out big time with forms and different things that way when I was a first time buyer of a multifamily. So it really depends on how much work you want to do. If you're gung-ho about it and you really want to go ahead and jumpstart things, I would say go ahead and do it. But if you know you just want to be able to come home, turn the lights on, use your home warranty to fix the washing machine and the dryer, stay in a single family. And you know yourself. Most people know themselves well enough that they want that added responsibility. It's going to become something that you have to do, not something that you want to do. And if it is that, it'll work out for you. So definitely make sure it boils back down to having a plan. Sit down with somebody to be able to make that real estate plan, and then that'll dictate, what's going to be best in your situation for you.
Brother Moore, thank you so much. That's some really great information. You just that's some fantastic. Jackson, do you want to add to what Brother Moore said?
Sure, absolutely. And Brother Moore, you talk about a fourplex. I too bought a fourplex as my first property. I still remember the address, 2660 Hauser Boulevard in Los Angeles, 90016. And it was kind of in the hood, if you will. And it was four tenants in there. And I'll just give you a quick little story on how you have to be diligent and concerned about your property and your investment. 2 o'clock in the morning, a pipe bursts in one of the units. And as the owner of it, I get the phone call. So you have to have maintenance people on deck to be able to go over there and help you out and get the problem handled. And I was out of town at the time. So I did have a good maintenance person, called him up, and he went over there and took care of the issue. Point being that if you're going to get into real estate, just like anything else, it sounds good and glamorous, but there are considerations you have to think about when owning a piece of property, because now you're responsible. You are the person. If the sink gets stopped up, if the roof is leaking, if a pipe bursts, if there's an issue. I had another fourplex in the hood again, but my best real estate deal I ever did, one of my tenants end up getting shot at in my unit. Okay. Worst experience I ever had. But I bought that four unit for $135,000 and I sold it for $500,000 3.5 years later. Now, I sold it because after that incident happened, I said, no mas. It's not worth the risk at that point. That was my limit. So I had, like Brother Morris said, I had to know myself. And at that point, it was time for that to go. So it's all about what you can stomach financially and what you really want to take care of. Because a management company is great. And for a fourplex, I didn't want to use one because the profit margin wasn't that big. And obviously, management companies can charge anywhere from 4 to 6% of your gross rents in order, and that would take from your profit. So me starting off at a 25-year-old buying something, I said, I can do this. And I managed it and it went very well. And I held that property for about 15 years. On the other side, with multifamily, if you don't want that type of responsibility, but you have cash, you can invest in multi-units, which me and my wife just did invest in a 238 unit building in Las Vegas, Nevada. And and we went in with another partner. There's multiple partners in this, and basically we put our money in and we get an 8% return quarterly on our money. So you can do those type of investments as well if you don't want to be a manager and you have some cash to invest, and you can go that route too as far as multifamily. But thank you, Brother Carter.
That's great information, Brother Jackson. Thank you. Raymond, do you want to weigh in on the conversation regarding multi-family, single family, first time buyer?
Um, I I'd like to just add, to what both the gentlemen have said, that it depends on your financial situation. There's a lot of benefits to just owning a single family, because it's less money to get into a single family than a multi-unit if it's going to be your first purchase. Um, and depending on the area and the location of your purchase, you're probably going to get a faster equity growth out of that single family versus a multi-unit. If you're up for the learning and the learning curve of owning, a four unit is a great investment to start with. If that's one of the things that you believe that you want to take on as a owner, it's one of those things that brings its benefits too. It has its challenges, the maintenance, the overhead, tenant screening. You have companies and management companies which take those on, but those are all expenses for you. And until you get several units, do you really want to take on that many types of expenses? Me myself, I kind of encourage people that once you have your first home and you grow some equity, then you could leverage the equity that's in your principal place, and buy the investment property. And that way there, you can actually grow more equity in having a second owned property, being that 1 to 4 unit that became your investment property. So I would always encourage people to take a look at where your finances are. What are your ambitions and goals? Ownership is a wonderful thing, but like all blessings, it has its burden, and you have to be prepared to really step up and to really be prepared to be an owner and to deal with people. Because, like Brother Moore says, the maintenance, the phone calls, like Brother Jackson says, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, it ain't zippy do plumbing. It's, hey, Mr. Jackson, your building is leaking. I'm not paying my rent. It's got a flaw. Mr. Moore, you need to get over here and check out the heater because it's not getting higher than 68 degrees. All because your daughter stuck a diaper in the pipe or something. Uh, but those are the burdens. But the blessings are the residual income that comes from ownership, and that's something that all of us would love to have more of is residual income, and that's income where people are giving you money on top of the money that you have invested. And so um, you have to take a look at your own particular financial situation, um, understand the difference between equity and leveraging equity, and where it's going to come from, and then make your decision. And find you somebody like Mr. Moore or Mr. Jackson. Myself, like I say, I deal with seniors, and I'm dealing with more sellers than buyers, and so I encourage them to take equity out of their home for legacy wealth. The one thing that we're going to address in this conversation today is the topic of legacy wealth at some point, and this is where legacy wealth comes in. Is when you determine what your first purchase is going to be and how you're going to leverage it going forth for your family, for your relatives, and for your own business purposes. Thank you, Mr. Carter.
Answers, great answers. Please remember for the viewing audience to, if you have questions, put it in the comment section on our Facebook and YouTube live stream. Raymond, you mentioned equity, and that was going to be my next questions. What are your suggestions on using the equity in your home to purchase real estate? More real estate, I should say, because obviously you have some real estate, you have equity. What are your suggestions?
For us to talk to because of who the ownership of real estate and ownership is within our community. There's so much equity. I cannot tell you for owners that have been in houses for 20, 25, 30 years now, the equity that's probably in some of these homes that's sitting there going to waste because it's not being utilized to grow the fortune of the family. Like I say, all of these gentlemen, myself, we stress the importance of, evaluating what your financial situation is. What is your current mortgage balance and what is your debt ratio? And then what is the growth of the equity in your property since the time that you bought it? We could all just about assure you that if you bought your house in the last 5 years, you've gained a good 10, 15, 20% equity the way the market has gone, even through COVID. Understanding your loan options, because when you have that property, you have two options. You could get a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit, in order to do other projects with, or you can go ahead and just take out another second or a fresh new first, and go ahead and buy something else. Buy that 1 to 4 unit investment. Sit down with your real estate professional, and let them help you calculate the risk. What are the vacancy rates? What are the current mortgage rates? What are the current rental rates? How is one going to help pay for the other? Analyzing your investment return is what we as professionals do for you. We chart it out, we mark it up. We show you where over time period, where interest rates were, where interest rates could be, where the government is talking about interest rates going. And the most important thing is, these professional gentlemen help you to plan for contingencies. And if you don't understand contingencies, it's what we refer to sometimes as Murphy's law. It's if it could happen, it will happen. And you have your money invested in it, and so using the equity from your home to do that, you have to, be very comfortable with making those decisions. consult professionals. I can't stress that enough. You know, the one thing I did not get a chance to address is, you know, for this audience listening, I need you, if you're taking notes, to take down this website, www.dre.ca.gov. That's the California Department of Real Estate. All of these gentlemen, myself, we feel comfortable sitting here talking to you because, you know, we have licenses. My license is 011-26150. You can always check my record, see the legitimacy of me, see the legitimacy of anybody you're talking to about real estate before you start sharing your personal information. This website will support any decision for finding an individual that's a professional that's going to help you stay out of trouble. They help you consider, what are your tax implications for what you're thinking about doing? What other professionals do we need to bring in to help you? Real estate attorneys, real estate accountants, marketing people, leasing specialists, property management specialists. When you start to get above 4 units and you want to invest in those, yes, you do need a team. Yes, you must have some people that know what they're doing. Yes, you want to have a professional real estate agent as a part of your team. First and foremost, they have the references. They've been in the business. They know these pitfalls. They will tell you since COVID what some of the major pitfalls have been for property owners as well as homeowners. And so always do your due diligence, conduct a thorough research. Zillow is not a thorough research, people. Zillow is not. I'm sorry. For those that love the site, you have individuals such as Mr. Moore, Mr. Jackson, myself, who pay, to be a part of a legitimate board of state of California board, to make sure that you're treated ethically, you're treated fairly, you're treated, properly. They each have a fiduciary duty as well as myself to make sure that we represent you in the highest professional manner. And that's what we're here to try to share with you tonight is that your real estate aspirations and dreams will include things such as a 1 to 4 unit purchase. It just has to if your family's going to grow. Just has to. A single home, your next purchase, you want renters. After that, a 10 unit. After that, we'll see you buy one of these 50 unit places on the corner of Imperial and Avalon somewhere. And so we look forward to you growing. We look forward to you, utilizing their services, utilizing my services, and helping you to do the due diligence. Don't go at it alone. Don't be a secret agent buyer. Don't be a secret agent seller. You have to go out there and have a team of people such as professionals to help you.
Brother Jackson, do you want to add some commentary to the question?
Sure. This one thing on the question about the home equity. If you're going to do a home equity, just make sure that you have a purpose and plan for it, like we talked about, because when you pull from that and you spend that money, whatever you invest in, you want to at least make that investment to cover the monthly payment you're going to have on that amount of money that you took off your home equity. Don't blow it on something. Don't waste the money, because then now you just add it to your mortgage. Now you got your mortgage payment and now you got your home equity payment and you don't have any income coming in to pay it. So all you did is what? Increase your debt. I don't know how many loans I've done where they refinance the house, pull some money out to invest or pay off bills, which is great. And it ends up lowering what they're spending out. But then all they do is run the credit cards back up. All they do is go buy another car. So you have to be smart. Home equity, lines of credit, and or seconds can get you in trouble if you are not financially disciplined to make sure you're taking the money to invest it properly where you can make a return on your money. Nothing against Bitcoin and that stuff, but that stuff is too high risk, too unknown. Real estate is definitely something that you will earn income and profits from, but you can also lose too. So that's why you definitely, like Brother Plummer says, hire the professional. Let us do the analyzation of it to make sure that what you're investing in is something that's going to give you that return. Because like you said, Zillow is not what you want to look at when you're talking about trying to figure out where you're going to invest your money. Just really quickly, for example, the California Association of Realtors, existing single-family homes, the median home sold in Los Angeles or California for $859,000 compared to $834,000 in August of last year. So that's an important statistic, so you know kind of where the market is going. You also want to know where the listing home price is. The average listing home price in Los Angeles is $1.2 million, which is 21% higher than it was last year, right? And that's the listing price. But it's selling, the median home selling price is $968,000. So it's listing for 1.2, but it's selling for 968. So these are the types of things that we can educate the audience on, so you don't buy something that may not be good for you, especially if you got an equity line of credit and that's the pool of money you're using to invest. So thank you, Brother Carter.
Brother Jackson, that is powerful information. Thank you so very much. Brother Moore, you want to weigh in on the question?
I'm good. The brothers went ahead and collaborated on that one a little bit much, so I won't belabor the point on that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And please remember to send your questions to our comment section on Facebook and also on our YouTube live stream. The next question is what, and both of you all of you gentlemen have touched a little bit on this. And, this is probably something that I think most of us are concerned about. And that is, what significant tax laws are going into effect in 2024 that will affect real estate purchases that homeowners should be aware of?
I can kind of comment on that a little bit, guys, if you don't mind first, because I talk to my accountant on a regular basis. He's a friend of mine that's on my baseball team. So we play every Saturday. So every time we play, I'm on the baseball field, we come in the dugout and I end up asking him a quick tax question, because I always have something during the week where a client asks me, if I bought the house for $500,000, if I sell it and make this gain, how much capital gains tax can I expect, et cetera. So although I'm not a tax accountant, not claiming to be, but I will tell you this. There are no significant laws that have changed recently, but I will tell you one that's very important that changed in 2018. And that is the amount of interest on your single family home that you can write off. They put a law in place that you only can go up to $750,000 on your loan to be able to write the interest off. So let me just give you a quick example. If you bought a house for $1 million and you put $250,000 down, then you have $700,000 or $750 of a loan, and then you can write off 100% of the interest. But if you bought the house for that $1 million and you put $200,000 down, which means your loan balance would be $800,000, that $50,000 from $750 to $800, you will not be able to write the interest off for that. And that's been in effect since 2018. So but other than that, there's not too many other tax laws that have been significantly changed. So bottom line is, we used to be able to write off all the interest no matter what your loan amount is. But now they limit it to $750,000 on single family. So that kind of sucks. And on your single family home, if you have a business in your home, let's say you use one of the bedrooms for your business, you can write off the repairs and stuff for your business as well if you have a business in your home. So up to 25% is kind of what the going rate is. So otherwise, if you put a roof on your house, you can't write that off. But conversely though, on your investment side, so if you have some units, you definitely can write off the repairs for that 100%. You can have offset your expenses, if you will, with the income that you make, right? So if you made $50,000 in income off your units and your expenses were $30,000, you made a $20,000 profit, and you would pay the taxes on the $20,000, obviously. But yeah, so that's the only thing I know that he told me today as far as the tax laws, that 2018 law.
Brother Moore, you have anything you'd like to add?
Nope, on that one, it stands the same there. Both of us here are in California, and we haven't had anything new come down the pipe. So right now, everything is status quo in terms of anything that's new coming. Only thing I will tell some of you people that are going through your college stuff, you know, what you end up owning that home and how much equity you have in it. The new thing that's coming out is a FAFSA that's coming out. So you will have to make sure that you do have some money in your property if you want to send your kids to school, because you may have to tap into some of that equity and maybe a refinance or maybe a HELOC that Mr. Plummer talked about.
Thank you. Raymond, you want to add anything to the question?
Thank you, gentlemen, and yes, I do. This is this is a key area which um, we run into with every transaction. Um, Here in California, unlike the rest of the nation, every transaction is affected or could be affected by the 1031 tax law. And I get a lot of questions from seniors that want to sell property, that want to understand what exactly is a 1031 exchange tax break. And we as realtors, have to remember that, there are some keys to that, the time period that's involved in doing the exchange, the value of the exchange, um, and the frequency of what you're doing with the property when you're exchanging it for a like value type property in order to try to um, prevent having large capital gains taxes at the end of the year. Uh, Another change that I want to talk about is mortgage limits. We're kind of blessed here in California because we get a little bit more of a grace than the rest of the country, where the government, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, have stepped up and said that, based on annual changes to an index of national home prices, conforming loan limits for mortgage backed by Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae on one unit properties is going to be $766,550 in 2024. That's a rise. And for high cost areas, the loan limit is going to be $1.149 million. And we here in California are talking about just about every house that's going on the market these days, from View Park to Angeles Crest to up on the hill in Ladera, is 1 million plus. And so, with there being new mortgage limits for both Freddie Mae and Fannie Mac coming for 2024, it opens the door for a lot of younger buyers. Um, One of the things that I teach, when I go out to Lions clubs, Rotary clubs, and other organizations is what exactly is a senior? Who's a senior? And there's not the two distinct groups that people refer to in conversation on a regular basis: boomers and millennials. Boomers and millennials is a misconception that many people use. When it comes to real estate, you're over the age of 50, you fit into one of four different senior groups. You're over the age of 50, you fit into one of four different senior groups. There are those people that are 85 and over, who are the silent generation. And then there's those people beneath them, which are the baby boomers. Beneath the baby boomers is the X generation, and then the millennials. And so there's two generations below us that we know as baby boomers that are out there trying to figure this thing out. And when you read material that only refers to millennials, they're forgetting about all of the X, Y, and Zers. These are the kids that are 30 something, 40 something, first time homemakers, first time babies, first time marriages, 35, 38, 49 years old, and they're trying to figure out how to get a home. What can we do to help them? When all the material that they see says millennials, baby boomers, millennials, baby boomers. What about us as X and Y's? What about us as Z's and the Alpha generation? We want to own condominiums. We want to own houses. So we as professionals have to remember, when we're talking equity, we're talking about first time buying, first time home buying, condominiums, get the real estate, get the title, get the pink slip to the property. You have to invest in something, some way. These young people have to be, set off on a track. And we as the professionals need to talk to their parents, their grandparents, their uncles, their aunts, and encourage them. Take out the equity loan. Give it to them to put into another property. Give it to them to get into their first home. You're going to be entitled to it as an owner. You don't lose money giving money to people to buy a house, even if they go default on it. You're in the family. You get first choice. We must remember to encourage people to, to take advantage of these limits because, like I say, here in California, our medium sales price is 950,000. Everything is a luxury home here, or technically. We had this conversation this morning on a mastermind with other realtors around the country. They're in Tennessee, they're in New Jersey, they're in Illinois. They can't even begin to imagine what we're looking at out here. I mean, we have a robust business going on here in California. The National Association of Realtors has come out and stated, and published 66% of homes on the market nationwide in October were sold in less than a month. 62% of real estate pros who say the first time home buyers typically had to put in 4 or more offerings before closing on a home, according to, these groups. And so, when there's those type of statistics coming out of a national organization, no, real estate business is not slow. Business is not stagnant. There's transactions that are happening. Um, Anybody that's on this call is listening that's curious to want to really understand, get in touch with Brother Moore. Get in touch with Brother Jackson. I hope Mr. Carter give you my contact information. Call me anytime. I will take you directly on MLS here in California, which is something you can't get from Google, and see the actual sales. See the actual descriptions. This is where you get your facts. This is how you do your analysis. This is how you use your professionals. They are here to encourage you to be safe. They are here to protect you. A fiduciary duty, that's legal. They have a responsibility to you, not just to know you, but to protect you. These are well-trained, well-educated gentlemen with knowledge in which to keep us all out of doing the wrong things. Real estate is their professional. Trust them. You guys that are all part of this same brotherhood, you should be dialing their numbers tonight. I mean, Brother Jackson, Brother Carter, Brother Moore, their phone should be blowing up after this. Every brother that currently owns real estate should be dialing their number. Why? Because in the last 5 years, your equity has grown 20%. You got kids, and that's grown 20%. You got grown kids, and you've not bought another property. We can't talk legacy, and we can't talk wealth legacy in our community if we're sitting on it like this. We just can't. Mr. Carter, thank you so very much for this opportunity. Once again, I want to thank the team over at BAM. BAM is, Black Wealth, Completion, and they really introduced me to you guys because they understand the passion that I have for real estate. I myself am commissioned by the state of California under a special commission just to make sure seniors are protected. You want a reverse mortgage? Get it. You got money sitting there? Take the reverse mortgage. Do something for your family. Set them off on that now while you can see them before you're gone. You got a second? Share it with your family. Yeah, it's beautiful that you can remodel your house and you can tell everybody about it and you post it up. But we're about equity growth in this community now. We're about saving Black communities. I'm sorry, Mr. Carter. We're about saving our communities. We are in a fight for our existence within our own communities today. I don't have to tell many of you on the line the transition and the migratory path of other nationalities who are rolling into our community and buying it right out from under us. There's no legacy wealth when we don't have it to hold on to. You must be on the phone talking to Mr. Jackson or Mr. Moore tonight. It's almost 8 o'clock. There's 3 more hours of operations tonight till 11 o'clock. Your family deserves you saying, let me just call Mr. Jackson and set up a time. Let me just call Mr. Moore and set up an appointment to talk to him. These brothers are in my fraternity. Let me talk to my knowledge. Family, please. I'm going to share one quick story to show you how this works, why we don't talk to each other as family. I work with another broker agent. She's on my morning phone call of Millionaire Brokers tomorrow morning. We're talking about defaults and the rise in defaults within our community. She was asking me, Ray, why are you getting so many? How do you do this? I says, I'm grinding. You got to get into this directory and look. She went into that directory and looked. She saw 2 family members who know that she's a real estate broker, know she's a mortgage broker, and they're going to lose their homes if they don't talk to her. If it was not by the grace of God that led her to look at that directory, to find that and call her family and says, hey, I understand you're in trouble on your mortgage. I'm not here to browbeat you. I'm here to help you. All you had to do is just speak. Let me help you. That's what Mr. Jackson does for a living. That's what Mr. Morgan's paid to do. These gentlemen are within your family. I'm not Greek, but I understand the relationship of the fraternal brotherhood. Call on your brothers. Don't sit at home worrying at night, stressing at night. Yes, sir.
Raymond, I hate to cut you off. I don't want to cut you off, but we got to move into questions because we've been a lot of questions and we want to make certain that we answer some of them. But the information that you just gave us is really important, and I thank you for that. Thank you for the examples is real prophetic. So thank you for that also. And we're going to move into questions. But if the listening and the viewing audience can gain anything from what any of these brothers are saying, the answer is consult a professional. Do not do it on your own. You're going to make bigger mistakes than you should be making. Contact Brother Jackson, contact Brother Moore, contact Brother Plummer. I can tell you this. I'm going to tell you this real quick story. I remember when I first started working in entertainment business, I was negotiating all my own contracts when I moved from company to company. One of my buddies said to me one time, he said, what are you doing? Go hire a lawyer. I said, man, he's going to want a lot of money. Well, guess what? Once I hired a lawyer, the amount of money that I started receiving for my contracts was way above the amount that I was paying for a lawyer. And not only that, all the other props I got. So from that day on, I understand the importance of a professional. So you have to hire a professional, and you have them. We have them right here in the fraternity. So please don't act like you don't know. Brother Jackson is here. Brother Moore is here. And now you've met Raymond Plummer. So please do that. Brother Falls, could you list some of the questions? Okay, here's the first question. And any of you brothers can answer it. When selecting a real estate agent, what should we look for when making that decision?
Well, I think the first thing you look for is how much experience they have in the business, and make sure they're licensed, of course, and that they're valid. They don't have any pending lawsuits or anything against them in real estate transactions. And obviously, you can look any of our license on the DRE website. That would be the first thing that I would do for sure.
Okay, Brother Moore, you want to add anything to that?
I'll definitely go ahead and chime in there. The next thing is it's got to be somebody that you can relate to, someone you can align yourself with, because they're going to be walking through this step with you. They're going to end up being personal with you. They're going to end up knowing about you more than some of your friends are. So you got to find somebody that you're comfortable with taking down the veil, because we're here to help you, but we got to know the whole story. And once we know the whole story, then we can be able to go ahead and take you to where you got to go. But first and foremost, you got to find somebody that, you don't mind bringing down the veil to. So when you meet that person, you end up having those tingling feelings on the back of your neck. If you have that, that may not be the one for you. But if you sit there and it's nice and calm, you're set at ease, your heart's beating at a normal pace, then that may be the right person for you to go ahead and move forward with. And then you do the necessary things like Brother Jackson said, check to make sure they have a license, check for them on DRE, Department of Real Estate, and make sure that they don't have anything negative on their license, so you don't find out anything later on. You're dealing with somebody on the up and up.
Let me just throw in there before Brother Plummer answer. I want to, it just sparked my mind with Brother Moore, what you said when you're talking about taking down the veil. And it's funny because our people sometimes that we do this is that real estate loans, that's really important information. So security numbers, addresses, birth dates, job title, income, all of that stuff. And what we really need to get out of in our heads is that because we're talking to our fraternity brothers or people that we know, that there has to be a certain level of trust. And yes, you know me 20 years. Yes, I'm your fraternity brother, but this is my business. And your business is confidential with me. And my interest is to make you sure that you are successful. And a lot of brothers or some people feel they don't want their personal friends or their frat brothers to know their business. And what's amazing is that they'll take their personal information and go find a strange realtor from wherever they found online or fill out whatever it is they have online and give them all the information. Some B of A sales dude that wants to do a loan and give him all the info, and he can't do for you what I can do for you because I have a vested interest, because I know that because it's Honorable Carter or Brother Plummer or more, I got to do a superior job because of my personal relationship with them. And it's funny because I know brothers that know that we're in this business, but yet they give the business to somewhere else because of their own reservations. So I just want to say, let's get past that, because again, guys, this is how we eat. This is how we make a living. I wouldn't be licensed this long. I wouldn't have the knowledge that I have if I didn't take care of people. Trust. So I just want to say that to the brothers who are on the phone that know Brother Moore or myself or Ron or Brother Plummer, that it's even heightened because we know you. So you'll be in even greater and better hands than just the average person.
Okay. Raymond, do you want to say anything real quick?
No, just beautiful, Mr. Jackson. Spoken very eloquently and right on time, man. You hit the right.
Okay. What is needed? Here's another question we just received. What is needed when trying to acquire a second property to be an income property?
You want me to take that?
You want to take that, Raymond?
So what is needed when trying to acquire a second property to be an income property? It cannot be your principal place of residence, first of all. It must be designated through the documentation in which you would acquire the property that it is going to be an investment property, so that you fit into the guidelines of the appropriated risk management to make sure that it's the appropriate investment for you at the time. Also, as an income property, you want to definitely show it as a business, which means that you're going to have to show some means of soliciting for tenant services or for tenant residency within the property, depending on whether it's another house or a 1 to 4 unit place or an even bigger place. The documentation to justify the intent of the deductions that you're going to take on a second income property when the IRS comes and asks you is very important. So it's very important that you specify in the front that you're buying this additional property, whether it's a single family home as an investment property or a building as an investment property, that you clearly state the intent throughout the purchase process so that you're not seeming as if you're deceiving another party in order to accomplish the dream or accomplish the purchase of the property.
So just going with a little bit more nuts and bolts on that for JDA there. The biggest thing you're going to have to start to make sure you do is put money away, because you still have to have a down payment, just as you did as the first home you had, but actually a little more, because it's not going to be your typical 5%. You're going to be, for an income property, you're going to be a minimum of 20%, unless you have some special financing deal. You're going to be a 20 to 30%. So you got to make sure that you start putting your money away, that the equity that you have in the property, you strategically have a way to pull that out to be used as your down payment to be able to move forward. And when you look at that, you're going to have to be able to show the income of that property as well as your income to be able to cover both notes. So it boils back to we've been talking about, you got to sit down and have a plan with it. So first and foremost, you're going to have to make sure that you have the down payment for that second home. No matter what, once you have a primary, anytime you go to buy something else, it's going to be seen as an investment property, unless it's way somewhere far away for you to try to declare that as a second home. It's got to be a good distance away. It's got to have a story to be a second home. Otherwise, they're going to make you claim that property as an income property. So having it be income property is not going to be a problem. That's going to be easy. As soon as you go buy a second one, it's an income property.
That's great information. Thank you, Brother Moore. We have another question here, and Brother Jackson, I don't know if maybe you can answer this question. Mm-hmm. What are the benefits of setting up a trust?
A trust has a lot of benefits. Number one is it helps you if something happens to you, then the property can get passed down properly. You want to put your stuff in a trust to the personal name because people look up your name and stuff all the time. If you own something, you can get sued, right? And they can kind of attach your property. I have a trust. My dad has one. My wife has one. And I personally set my stuff up in Wyoming because it's a little bit state of Wyoming because it's a little bit more private. They don't give out the public information of who owns the trust because in California, everything's public and you can look up kind of everything. So going in the state that has a little bit more privacy and no state tax is kind of better when you're setting up a trust. I set mine up in Wyoming. But trust definitely huge benefits in terms of if something happens to you, where the property goes. Because if it's just in your name and something happens to you and you pass away, then whoever your heirs are, they'll have to go into probate to get it. And that's costly with the state of California.
Thank you. Raymond, you want to add to mention?
Oh no, both of the gentlemen answered those, very thoroughly. I don't think we can cloud what they've said with anything else.
Okay.
Great job, Mr. Moore.
Okay. Here's another question. Can you talk about the timeline it takes to become a real estate agent or broker? And this for any of you guys who want to answer the question.
If you don't mind, gentlemen, I'll jump on that real, for
knock it out.
There are multiple ways to become both an agent and a broker. You could do it as a self-studied individual, or you can attend a training site such as real estate trainers who will guide you and teach you all of the material necessary to understand what real estate agents do. Brokers, they take on a little bit more responsibility. They have to take more classes. They have to take an extensively longer test in order to prove to the state that they're knowledgeable of the rules and the guidelines throughout real estate and residential purchases to protect both buyers and sellers in all transactions. And that's what all agents do, whether they're an agent or a broker. You could do this and get it accomplished by yourself within 30 days. It's possible to take the courses and request a test date upon completion within about 30 days. And then you have to wait on the state's administration to process your application and your fee to send you out a test date for when you can get, your test completed. You have to go down to the state building and take your test. For the brokers, the same thing applies. With a broker's license, you have to have a degree or you have to have a certain number of years of experience. And even with a degree, you also have to combine that with years of experience in order to qualify under the state of California to be a broker or owner. And that you have to also apply to take the exam to get your license and pay your license fee as well. And that in itself could take you anywhere from 60 days to as long as 6 months. Depends on how aggressive you want to take on, finishing your courses and finishing your classes.
Great, thank you. Here's another question. Do you utilize any programs, government, etc., when working with a client to assist in their purchasing of a property?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they have a lot
of. Jackson, go ahead.
Yeah, they have a lot of programs out there. The FHA program is one of the most popular ones, 3.5% down. The only thing about it is that the property has to qualify, obviously has to be in good condition. They inspect it and make sure it's up to the code of the county that you live in. They have programs for veterans as well, that veterans have a lot of different. The VA does 100% backing on the loan. And let's just make sure everybody understands what these programs are. Like FHA and VA, they're basically insuring the loan, really, guys. They're saying basically if you default, they'll come in and pay the lender. That's basically what it is. But the lending part of it is different banks and investors actually lend you the money, but those entities actually back it in case you default. And so a lot of times it's more attractive to somebody selling it. VA and FHA can take a lot longer to close the loan, though. So a lot of times when, as agents, we add a little bit more time on closing the loan because FHA has their restrictions. So does the VA, as opposed to a normal bank or lender. So you always have to be, that's up to us as professionals to know that going in, to make sure we put you in the best position to say, hey, we're going to make an offer on this property and we're going to close in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. We try to be as realistic as we can when we're doing that, because programs, whenever there's a program, sometimes there's a lot of red tape involved with it and can take longer, which can kind of frustrate your seller at times. But that's where the professionalism of myself, Brother Plumber, and Brother Moore, to build that relationship with that selling agent or broker to make sure they understand what we're doing, be transparent, and be on a good timeline. So programs are great. They have a lot of the payment assistance programs. LA has one, but you have to qualify for it with income. I'll give a quick example. My grandmother, when she was alive, qualified for the city of Inglewood down payment assistance program. And they gave her $50,000. She bought a condo for $100,000, but the city of Inglewood gave her $50,000 as a quote unquote silent second that she had made no payments on, and her mortgage was based on the other $50,000. The catch is that the equity that the property would make over time, if you refinance and you would pay back the second, you'd have to give them 20% of your equity. That's the catch on it. So they have a lot of programs out there. We definitely can do them, but you got to look at the fine print, because sometimes it can be good for you, but you just need to be informed on what they are so you can be prepared. So in that case, we bought the condo for $100,000. When it got up to 130, we refinanced out of it because it was going up, and I'd rather give them, a 20% of 30,000 in equity than 20% of 100,000 in equity, because it eventually went up to 300,000. So you just kind of get in the property and kind of get out of the program in that particular case. Thank you, Brother Carter.
Thank you, Brother Jackson. Brother Moore, would you want to say anything else about that, or you're fine?
I'm okay. I will jump on part 2 of the trust question, because here in the chat, they asked about what Brother Jackson had talked about setting up the trust in Wyoming, and they asked, do you have to buy or own a property in Wyoming? And the question is no. You just have to set up the trust there, and whatever you put in the trust can be from anywhere. Am I right, Brother Jackson? So just piggybacking on that second half of that question there, we'll go on to the next one. But yes, all of us will end up working with people in their programs. They're beneficial.
Thank you. Well, as you can see, the magic bullet, so to speak, through all what's happening tonight is a couple of things. First, you're getting really great information from 3 professionals who are in the real estate game, the real estate field. Not only are they brokers, but they also own property. So they actually are involved actively in the real estate business. And then secondly, the most important thing is, if you are planning to get involved in it, please see one of these guys or somebody like them, because it's really important to have someone guiding you through, especially if it's your first transaction, guiding you through these transactions. It's almost like having a lawyer. You need, if you're going to get into real estate, you need a real estate broker or a realtor to kind of guide you through what it is you're attempting to do. Brother Fowles, do we have any more questions in the chat? I don't see any. I don't know if you have any more. If not, would you guys please, each one of you, offer a closing statement? I'll start with you, Raymond, since I started with Brother Jackson.
Thank you, Honorable Brother Ron Carter, Brother Moore, Brother Jackson. I appreciate being blessed to be in the presence of both of you gentlemen and your wealth of knowledge with this fabulous organization. You guys do such incredible things for the community. I am so honored and proud to be here this evening. Like I said, I give a lot of thanks to the BAM organization, which connected me with Mr. Carter to allow me to share my knowledge. Hopefully that it encouraged or enlightened someone that was on this call in any way, to go further with what they want to do with real estate. Um, the reason that I encourage you to go to your professionals is because real estate fraud is very rampant right now. And like I said earlier, part of my special commission by the state of California is to protect seniors. And I can't say enough about, being diligent as a senior citizen, to some of the types of real estate fraud that's going on today. Recordation, fraud is so prevalent that people's houses are being signed out right from underneath them and they don't even know it. And so it's very important that um, we seek to protect our seniors. We make sure that we check on them and their business because it's not enough to just call and say, hi, how are you doing? What's going on? How is things going with the house? Is there anything that's happening that you may want to talk about? We have to ask our seniors, that because they're the ones that are most vulnerable and the least to speak up because of embarrassment and a lack of knowledge on where to go for help. So it's important that we always continue to help them, those that we know own property, to always be prevalent of what's going on with them and their property because um, people are losing their homes out here today to so many fraudulent things that are happening, and we just have to, as intelligent professionals, not only listen for it but be observant of it. We ask each other to call each other and to check on each other, but it's so important that we and you guys, you have monthly get-togethers and monthly chapter meetings that you at least restate your purpose of business for your brothers so that those that are in trouble or those that are venturing into something, that they're not talked into something that's going to lose them their dream. It's so important. Once again, Mr. Carter, uh, I'm so appreciative to this organization for allowing me to speak openly tonight, to have tried to grow this organization and its members to be better and more astute real estate professionals as well as real estate purveyors. God bless all of you. Good luck to this. God bless our organization and all the good things that you guys do in the community. Thank you, guys.
We're going to have you back just to talk about. There's an echo. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going to have you back just to talk about the abuse that seniors is experiencing now in real estate. I am working on a project with one of my business associates, and I was doing some research and found out that California is the #1 state in the country where senior abuse in real estate is taking place at a very high clip. So that's something we're going to talk about. Hopefully, our next session will be centered around that, and we'll bring you three gentlemen to talk about that because that's important. And also, what this research is saying is that because California, a lot of people are moving to California, a lot of seniors are moving here, the abuse rate is astronomical. So we'll talk about that at the next time. So thank you for Raymond for raising that topic. Brother Moore, you want to round it? You want to give us some closing remarks?
Definite. Just want to thank you guys for chiming in today, and those out there listening, and those that had an opportunity to put some questions in the chat. Even after this is done, definitely feel free to reach out to either one of us that are here on the call. Mr. Plummer, Brother Jackson, or myself. We're definitely here to help you. It doesn't cost you a dime to be able to talk to us. And we're definitely here for you. And at the end of the day, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. When you go to the doctor, they hand you that form. You put all your information on there without even questioning where it's going to go. And they ask for mother's maiden name, social security, driver's license, kids' data, but they ask it all. And you know that stuff is secure. Now, when you go ahead and sit and chat with us, we're going to keep your information private, professional, to allow you to be the best that you can be. That's our whole goal. So if I can be of any help to any of you, even if you're just thinking about maybe buying a home, if you're thinking about when's the best time to refinance your home, or if you're thinking about reverse mortgages or any of those type of things, you know what? Let me know. I'll go ahead and be a resource for you. And if it's something I don't know, you guys always know. I'll go find out. I may say, hey, put a pin in that. I'll be back and I'll go find out what I need to find out from you. So it's been a pleasure speaking with you guys this evening. And if you need me, definitely reach out to me with no hesitation. Thank you, Brother Carter.
Thank you, Brother Moore. Appreciate it. Brother Jackson, you want to round us out tonight?
Sure, absolutely. Well, first, thank you, Brother Carter, for moderating this, and to my fellow professionals, Brother Plummer and Brother Moore, thank you guys as well. I've surely enjoyed this. I think we should do more of this. Information is key, guys, and we will definitely give you the best and most honest information that we know of. And if we don't know I enjoy helping everyone, but particularly my brothers, because there's a certain level of satisfaction when you help someone, a family member or one of your brothers, because we're bonded by more than just business, right? We're bonded by something bigger and greater, which makes us even more want to make sure we do the best job that we possibly can for you. So definitely reach out to me. You guys have my phone number, my email address. I'll do whatever I can on the loan side and or listing or purchasing, whether it's in California or not, because I do have quite a bit of connections in other states with other realtors. So if you want to buy something in Las Vegas or Arizona or Florida, we definitely can get you taken care of in those other states as well, because they are a lot cheaper, particularly for investment purposes. So definitely reach out, guys. I've enjoyed my time with you and looking forward to doing this again here shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Jackson. And on behalf of our chapter president, Brother Stephen Rice, and our Big and Better Business Director, Brother Antonio Williams, and most importantly, the gentleman who has been steering the ship all night, Brother Dr. Theo Fowles. I want to thank you all for spending some time with us this evening, and we hope that you learn a few things about real estate and you've taken notes. And if you haven't taken copious notes, then please reach out to these three gentlemen. As you can see, they're very knowledgeable about the real estate industry, and I'm quite certain they'll help you to become an owner of real estate. So again, thank you all for coming out tonight. I hope you had fun. I know I certainly did. I learned a few things. I was taking some notes myself. I think this session is being recorded, and I probably will be on our website that you can, if you miss something, you can go there and you can view it again. So thanks again, and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for dedicating your time for what just occurred, because I know that you guys should usually pay for this kind of information. So thanks a lot.
Appreciate you guys.
Good night.
We're meeting you, Raymond.
And good night.
Good night.